I bet I know what brand just popped into your head. It's pretty amazing, right? Just one sound and an entire company, a whole feeling comes to mind. It's the perfect way to show that a brand is so much more than just a logo. So today, we're going to dive deep into how the really great brands come to life using every tool in the toolbox. All right, so let's jump right in with maybe the most surprising part of a modern brand: sound. I mean, think about it. With smart speakers all over our homes, podcasts in our ears, and voice assistants on our phones, our ears are becoming the new battleground for attention. Sound is, without a doubt, the next big frontier for brands. So let me throw a kind of radical idea at you. What if the most important part of a logo wasn't what you see, but what you hear? It's a concept that is completely flipping the script on what brand identity even means. And there it is, straight from Jeff Lenton. The big idea here is that a brand's identity has to be multi-sensory if it wants to cut through all the noise of modern life. It's just not enough anymore to have a cool visual mark. You need an entire experience that connects with people on a whole bunch of different levels. And look, this isn't just some random creative free-for-all. It's a real discipline with a formal name: audio architecture. It's all about the structured, intentional use of music, voice, and sound to build a consistent, recognizable feeling around a brand. You know that little bong sound from Intel? That 5-note jingle is a perfect, tiny piece of audio architecture that's worth millions. What's so interesting here is just how many different forms this can take. You've got the purr of a Harley Davidson motor, a sound so unique the company actually tried to trademark it. How wild is that? Then you have the catchy jingles we can't get out of our heads, those iconic signals like the one we started with, and even the music playing in a store that makes you want to hang out a little longer. And this is just a brilliant example of using sound to get people to play with your brand. To celebrate Les Paul's birthday, Google didn't just post a picture, they turned their logo into an interactive guitar that people could actually play and record with. The result was insane. 40 million songs recorded in just 2 days. That's not just marketing, that's a full-on cultural moment. Okay, so a multi-sensory brand is powerful, we get it. But a great idea, whether it's a sound or a new logo, is really just the beginning. How do you get from that cool concept on a whiteboard to a successful brand that works in the real world? How do you know it's going to work before you sink millions of dollars into it? That's what we're going to dig into next. Right? This is it. This is the big question. It's the one every single designer and brand strategist has to answer. This is the moment a cool idea has to prove it can actually do the heavy lifting for the business. Well, the answer is you have to put it through its paces. You have to stress test it. You don't just admire a new logo on a nice, clean white background and call it a day. No way. You've got to throw it into the fire. You mock it up in real-world situations, on a tiny app icon, on the side of a blurry truck, embroidered on a hat. You push it to its absolute limits to see if it breaks. Let's look at a real-world example. Check out this absolutely beautiful identity for Laura Zindel's handcrafted dinnerware. The designers tested this thing on everything you can imagine, from paper mock-ups to the final ceramic products themselves. This whole process makes sure the brand feels right at every single touch point. That's just a fancy word for every single place a customer might run into it. So, once all that testing proves the new identity actually works, you have to sell it to the people holding the purse strings. And that's where art meets science. I love this quote from Blake Howard because it just nails it. You have to hit them with that emotional wow factor, but you better be ready to back it all up with cold, hard, strategic rationale. And this is how you do it. A great presentation, like this one for the delivery service Conga, makes the whole thing feel real and inevitable. By showing the identity on everything, from business cards to t-shirts to the app icon, you're not asking them to imagine it. You're showing them exactly how customers are going to see it and experience it. All right, so the brand gets the green light. What's next? Well, in our world, its first home, and honestly its most important home, is almost always going to be online. A brand's digital presence is often the very first impression it makes, and sometimes it's the only one. This quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's not enough to just have a pretty website anymore. We've all been there, right? You land on a site, and if it isn't immediately useful or interesting to you, you're gone. We expect brands to give us something valuable, not just try to sell us something. And the key to that relationship is great content. A really smart content strategy is like a good meal. It's got a mix of different ingredients. You have your original content, which is your unique take on things. Then there's curated content, where you share other smart stuff from around the web.
Evergreen content is that super helpful how-to guide that's always relevant. And of course, nothing builds a community faster than celebrating stuff your own customers create.
And social media is where all this content really sings. Just look at what Closka Design does with these short videos on Instagram. They're not just showing you a product, they're showing you a whole vibe, a lifestyle. It's that beautiful imagery, the upbeat music, the quick cuts. It creates a feeling of energy and style you want to be a part of. And of course, a brand's website is the mothership. It's the digital flagship. The transformation of Dale Carnegie is just a fantastic case study here. They took a brand that some people might have seen as a little old-fashioned and gave it this incredible digital makeover, making it feel fresh and totally relevant to a whole new generation. Okay, so we've covered our ears and our screens. But what about the real world? The stuff you can actually touch and feel. Let's talk about how brands come to life in the physical spaces all around us. I mean, think about walking down the drink aisle in a grocery store. It's just a wall of visual noise, right? But then you see vitamin water. That pop of vibrant color, that super clean and simple design, it just cuts through all the clutter. It communicates this fun, healthy energy before you even read a single word. This is so smart. Most people would just see an ugly construction fence as something to hide, but the Philadelphia Museum of Art saw an opportunity. They turned this temporary barrier into an impromptu outdoor gallery, bringing their art out to the city and making the brand feel accessible to everyone. And then you have things that are constantly on the move. A fleet of delivery vehicles, like these from Just Eat, becomes a massive rolling billboard that's just blanketing the entire city. Every single delivery becomes a little ad, building that brand recognition on every street corner. But at the end of the day, the product itself has to deliver on the brand's promise. And this Closka helmet is a perfect example. They didn't just design a piece of safety equipment, they designed a fashion accessory. This is where it all comes together. The brand story, the digital content, the design, it's all embodied in this one physical object.
So we've looked at sound, digital, and physical. We've put all these different pieces on the table, so what's the big takeaway here? What does it all add up to? What's the end game?
This quote from the legendary designer Sagi Havav just says it all. A great brand isn't about a collection of pretty pictures or catchy tunes that somebody likes. It's a system. It's a machine where every single part, from the jingle to the Instagram post to the delivery truck, is working together to communicate one clear idea. It's not about what's pretty, it's about what works.
And that leaves us with one final kind of mind-bending thought for the future. In a world where you can just tell your smart speaker, hey, order more batteries, what happens to all those carefully designed packages on the shelf? When you don't even see the brand anymore, how does it earn a place in your life? That is the billion-dollar question that the next generation of brands has to answer.